proposal, which will be forthcoming. So what does this mean? What is the benefit for Lebanon in general? What is the benefit to the South? How do we stop Israel's misunderstanding of what's happening? And that's all in process. And that's the next step.
Ambassador,
Yes.
Sir Barrack, good morning. Muhammad Shwar Al-Arabi TV. Will there be a step-for-step approach after the base government decision that you raised it?
Yes, I mean, there's always a step-by-step approach. But I think the Lebanese government has done their part. They've taken the first step. Now what we need is Israel to comply with that equal handshake.
تعمل مخدر الجزيرة سي Hezbollah is released this decision. What will happen if they don't deliver?
They'll have missed an opportunity. But I think this is a process. When we talk about deliver, like, what does deliver mean? Deliver means we're starting a long discussion. And Hezbollah, as part of the Shia population, has to see what is in store for them. What's the option? What's a better alternative than the alternative they have? And that, again, comes from the basis of how do you build prosperity? You can't just take something and not give anything. So I think the next steps of this are really us elucidating with the government and saying, what does this mean? What does it mean for the South? How does prosperity get restored? Who's funding it? How does it participate? What's the sequence, step by step, of what happens? How do you get Israel to cooperate? How do you get Iran to cooperate? At the end, right, Iran is still an neighbor. So everybody has to have something, and we're saying, I can see a win, not adversarial. So I think that it's coming step by step, but the big step was what the president, the team, the government, the cabinet, the ministers did was give an opportunity for us to help, for the United States to help in carving this transition to a more tranquil relationship with the neighbors.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome again to Syriana Analysis. I'm your host, Kevork Almassian. Thank you very much for tuning in to today's live streaming. Today is the 18th of August, 2025, and I'm joined by our friend Ibrahim Majed, political analyst and geopolitical expert. He is publishing his in-depth analysis on X. His account is in the description below, guys, if you like to follow and learn about his insight about what's going on in his country, Lebanon, especially with the greater focus on the Greater Israel Project, on Lebanon, and on the geopolitical conflict in the region. Hello to our friends and followers, those who are watching this stream on YouTube, on Rumble, and Ganjin World, and special thanks to our friend with Access for moderating the live chat. Ibrahim, thank you for coming to the show, and I hope you're doing well.
Kevork, thank you for having me.
It's a great pleasure, and I wanted to have you because today you have guests in your country, Tom Barrack, and I don't know if I'm mispronouncing her name, Ortages or Gates or whatever, the previous special envoy. Ortegos, the American envoy to the region, and now Tom Barrack. They are both in Lebanon, and they're following up on the issue of the disarmament of Hezbollah in this case. And there has been a truce or a cessation of hostilities between Hezbollah and Israel back in November last year. And under the November truce agreement, weapons in Lebanon were to be held only by the state, and Israel was to fully withdraw its troops from the country. Although it has kept forces in 5 to 7 border points it deems strategic, according to the Israeli press. Some of our commentators say what Tom Barrack said was reasonable. What is your take?
You started with the video that Tom Barrack is speaking that now they have to take a commitment from Israel. Israel 2 days ago established another point in South Lebanon, and all the Israeli officials are saying that they will not leave South Lebanon. I think this is a maneuver, what they are trying to do right now. I don't see any positivity in what they said. Actually, they said many things that I would like to talk about. First of all, the video that you just put, and Tom Barrack is basically saying Lebanon is doing, and Lebanon needs to commit more and give more reasons for the Israelis to withdraw. Until then, there is no withdrawal from Lebanon. The Tom Barrack also spoke about look, what he was trying to do was pressure the Shiite community in Lebanon by connecting the reconstruction to Hezbollah disarmament. This is the first thing he wanted to do. Second thing, that he is coming back on the 30th of this month to see with the chief of staff and the government the plan that the Lebanese army, is putting for the weapons exclusivity in whole of Lebanon. And the third thing, Kevork, that he was trying to do is threaten Lebanon with the UNIFIL. The Americans said that they want the UNIFIL. They don't want the UNIFIL anymore in South Lebanon, and this is actually threatening the Lebanese with the Israelis, and that they will let the hand of the Israeli free in South Lebanon, and they are trying to install fear in the Lebanese hearts and soul. What I have to say is this, Kevork. First, if they think by connecting the reconstruction of the southern villages and the southern suburbs and Baalbek, east of Lebanon, to the disarmament of the resistance, the people of Lebanon are ready to live under open sky with no roof, and they will not agree for the resistance to give up their weapons. If they are trying to scare the Lebanese and to install fear in their heart regarding the UNIFIL, and they will let the hand of Israel free, I think we have made it clear for everyone that death is better than humiliation and enslavement. This is a way of life I don't think that Tom Barrack and whoever sent Tom Barrack understands. And the third and last thing, Kevork, I want to speak about, this is our land. This is our home. This is not a hotel. We are not going to check out and leave. We are not going to check out and leave this land. This is the lands of our parents and grandparents and generations before them. If they think that they can get us out of this land to another country, then they are delusional, because we have heard some Lebanese speak about this. Some Lebanese who are close to the Americans speak about this. This is the land of our ancestors. We were born in it, and we will die in it. They can try to kill us all, but we will die as free people. This is a decision that the Lebanese took, not only Hezbollah took, because even today, Kevork, if Hezbollah wants to give up their weapons, the Lebanese will not allow them. The Southerners will not allow them. The people of East Lebanon and Baalbek and a large number of Lebanese from all sects will not allow Hezbollah to give up their weapons or the resistance to give up their weapons.
Ibrahim, I totally comprehend the sentiments. I lived in Lebanon, especially among Shia population, and I know the mentality and the readiness for sacrifice for the people. Now, before this stream, I told you I'm going to bring some counter arguments so that we can have a civilized conversation about this very important issue, which will have its implications on the entire region. Now, the first thing is, you mentioned that Tom Barrack is threatening Lebanon. I'm going to show this video of him. I think this was a question asked by the Lebanese MTV, which is a pro-Saudi and pro-Israeli TV outlet inside Lebanon. And she asked Tom Barrack what would happen if Hezbollah, I believe, doesn't disarm, and if there is going to be any repercussions on Lebanon, one of which is the American aid. Let's take a look first to this video.
Mr. Barra, George Sa'i from MTV, as my colleague said, Hezbollah refused to disarm. But how would you deal with it in terms of will you suspend the international aid for Lebanon if the state cannot apply the disarmament of Hezbollah?
No, I don't think there's no threats. Right at this point in time, everybody is being cooperative. So the dealing with Hezbollah, as we've always said, is a Lebanese process. What we've tried to do is to usher some ability with Israel primarily to create a stable communication network that will benefit Hezbollah, the Shias, Lebanon, and Israel. We're not at the point of threatening anybody. This is complicated. So when we talked about disarmament, even the word disarmament, what does that mean? How does it happen? At a time where they're looking and saying, well, what is in it for us? How do we protect ourselves? They're looking to laugh as to really being their security guarantor and saying, okay, we have a regional security force that's protecting us. We'll laugh now, substitute for that. And as that happens, how does our life transition? What's the future for us? What's the prosperity for us? That's all part of a discussion. So nobody is thinking without threat.
So he doesn't want to threaten Hezbollah. And I want to bring a few things. He said the Lebanese government did what it's supposed to do on its part. So now it's the responsibility of Israel to respect this agreement, which one of the components of the article of the agreement is for Israel to withdraw from Lebanon, right, and stop the aggressions against the Lebanese territories. Now, you also mentioned that the UNIFIL, that Tom Barrack probably wants to end the mission of the UNIFIL, and in my opinion, UNIFIL is already useless in Lebanon. They don't stop any aggressions. They are there only to report the violations from the Israeli side. And you also said the Lebanese people have taken a decision to keep the arms and to die with dignity instead of bowing in front of an enemy. But the Lebanese people are also divided, Ibrahim, nowadays. And I don't know what's the percentage, probably 50-50, probably 60-40, probably 70-30. Nobody knows exactly. That some people say, we don't want to continue fighting. Enough is enough. This is a lost cause. Palestine is gone. Then why are we continuing fighting? Meanwhile, our properties are being destroyed and our future goes in vain. What do you say to them?
You know what's funny? These people that are saying this, they didn't fight, and their houses didn't even get bombed in the last war, and they never fought Israel, by the way, since 1948. They have abandoned Lebanon. They have fought in civil wars, but they didn't fight Israel. They actually did Israel job, and they are still doing Israel job in Lebanon. These people are Zionists. They are Lebanese Zionists, and they are trying to push the Israeli agenda. Kevork, it's crazy to me that somebody wants to give up weapons when you have a genocidal state on your southern borders and terrorist groups on your eastern and northern borders, and the western borders is the sea. This is something that is just beyond me to understand. These people are just pushing to whatever the Israeli want. They talk about Iranian intervention, but they don't see that Tom Barrack said that the Lebanese agreed to an American paper. The Lebanese prime minister said it. He said, we agreed to an American paper. The government took a decision in it and didn't even, they didn't even read the paper. After Hezbollah and Amal left the meeting was done in, I think, 5 minutes, if I'm not wrong. 5 minutes. How can they discuss 10 points in 5 minutes? So each point is taking them 30 seconds to discuss. These people are just pushing the Israeli narrative in Lebanon. To be honest with you, the resistance is being is understanding everyone in the country. They are telling them we are ready to fight under the banner of the Lebanese army, but we will not give up the weapons. There has to be something that will protect Lebanon. We're not just gonna hand out the weapons and then allow the Israeli to enter. Netanyahu just spoke about Greater Israel. How is there no threat?
But they will not allow Hezbollah to integrate into the Lebanese army. Then Hezbollah will turn the Lebanese army into an Hezbollah, right? So they know that if Hezbollah joins the Lebanese army, the doctrine of the Lebanese army will change into an anti-Israeli force. And this is something that, especially after the civil war in Lebanon, all the regional powers, including friendly and non-friendly powers, they have made sure that the Lebanese army stays weak and incapable of fighting. So if Hezbollah joins it, then it's again a problem, right, for these players.
Hezbollah doesn't have to join it. They can be a group that fights next to the army, resistance that fights with the army, and the decision of war will be taken in the government, of course, but with the understanding that what happened in 2011 will not be repeated. When Abu Muhammad al-Julani entered Arsal and kidnapped the Lebanese soldiers, and the government didn't give the order for the Lebanese army to go and free those soldiers, and the Lebanese army knew exactly where they are, but the government was compliant. Same thing happening today. Kevork, the people will not give up the only thing they have for their protection. This is not logical. This is not what then wherever this is going to lead, whatever it is going to lead to, the people will not give up what they have to protect their families. Even if Hezbollah gives up their weapons, and Hezbollah will not give up their weapon, even if they give up their weapon, the people will create another resistance to fight. People are not going to be slaughtered like what's happening, I'm sorry, in Suwaida and in the Syrian coast and in Gaza. This is not going to happen. We are going to protect ourselves. If the 50% of the Lebanese who are against the resistance, their houses is not even, they are not from the south. Most of them are not from the south. They were not damaged in the war. What are they tired? My question to them is, what are you tired of? Fighting of what? When was the last time you fought?
But Lebanon is a very small country, they say, and Hezbollah has decided to go into an act of hostilities against Israel on October the 8th, one day after October 7, in support of their brothers in Gaza. And this has taken Lebanon into a perpetual war against Israel, something that was not discussed with the Lebanese army and the Lebanese government in this case. Therefore, these people say that Hezbollah has taken Lebanon into war. And of course, it has destroyed many of the neighborhoods in Bahia, southern suburbs of Beirut, and the southern Lebanon, mostly, let's say, the stronghold, as they call it, of Hezbollah. But this has had also negative implications on the Lebanese economy. And therefore, the people say, we don't want for Hezbollah to take us into wars without talking with the Lebanese government, something that there has to be a national, let's say, consensus about, right? So you mentioned now that Hezbollah can fight alongside the Lebanese army, but the decision should be in the hands of the Lebanese army.
I'm saying that Hezbollah said they are ready to discuss, and this is what the Secretary General of Hezbollah said. They are ready to discuss a strategic defense plan for Lebanon. They said that very clearly. Hezbollah didn't take the decision to take Lebanon to war. First of all, on the 8th of October, Hezbollah attacked the Shib'a farms, which is Lebanese occupied land. This is the first point that we have to make clear. Second, the Israelis never needed a pretext to go to war. I mean, they invaded Lebanon from 1948 until 2000. Look what happened today in Syria. They took maybe 600 square kilometers from Syria. I don't know the number exactly, around 600 square kilometers without a pretext. Look what's happening in Gaza. Look what's happening in the West Bank. Israel does not need a pretext. Israel never. Netanyahu is speaking about Greater Israel. Greater Israel is taking over Lebanon. What else do they want? And you know what's funny? Some of them say that Israel is not a threat. Netanyahu speaks about Greater Israel, and some Lebanese and some Arabs don't believe that Israel is a threat.
Israel is definitely an expansionist country. And the other day, when Netanyahu spoke about Greater Israel Project, in my opinion, he has made clear that he is on a mission to establish a Greater Israel Project, something that we both discussed in previous stream. And I've been covering this, of course, on this channel for quite some time. Again, I just want to say that there are a portion of people in Lebanon, we're not talking about political parties. Let's specifically say that there are people among the popular base of Hezbollah. They are also saying publicly, I can read on X and other platforms, we don't want to fight Israel for the sake of others. This is the difference that they want to, what they want to distinguish, that if we are attacked, we will protect ourselves, but opening front lines in support of others has become a burden on us. Now the supply chain with Syria is gone. Our, let's say, connectivity with Iran is gone because of Syria, and we are surrounded by Al-Qaeda Jolani army, basically, and from the other side, the Israelis. So let's protect ourselves. Let's keep what is necessary to protect our community as a Shia. Because if you ask me now, honestly, if Hezbollah people disarm themselves, the second day Jolani people will come and decapitate them and drag their bodies in the streets. This is what's going to happen. So I don't believe that if Hezbollah disarms, everything will be brilliant and colorful. I think there will be lots of bloodshed as well. But what I'm trying to say is, on the geopolitical grand scheme in the region, even the people who support Hezbollah say, we don't want to open front lines against Israel and lose a lot in our country, because this has become a lost cause, at least at the current moment. Let's just protect ourselves, right? And then you have people who are not Zionists in Lebanon, like they are, I don't want to say pro-Hezbollah, but they're not anti-Hezbollah. Like they're not like the phalanges, right? But they also say that let's just take care of ourselves. Let's just build our economy. Let's just receive investments. We are a touristic country. This country is based on services. And every time there is war, the tourism stops, our economy crashes, and we still have a huge issue with the refugees. You have 1.5 million Syrian refugees in your country that you also have to solve the issue, right? So you also have priorities rather than, let's say, this big geopolitical conflict in the region, which turned out that, Ibrahim, I'm being very, very, very honest with you, neither Iran acted decisively, nor Russia. Syria is gone, so Hezbollah remained nowadays isolated. So why continue fighting?
The majority of okay, I'm gonna divide this question. The majority of the people who are part of Hezbollah and who are because what is Hezbollah? Hezbollah is the people, you know, the people of the south, the people of the east, the people of Beirut. The majority of them will do whatever it takes for Hezbollah to remain, whether opening a front with Israel or protecting Lebanon. Sheikh Naim Qasim, the Secretary General of Hezbollah, in his latest speech, he said Hezbollah is going to be a defense resistance for Lebanon. So they will work only on defending Lebanon from any Israeli aggression or Al-Julani aggression at the moment. There are people who have all the right to say what they want. We are in a democratic country. Hezbollah never started an aggression against the Israelis. When Israel was occupying South Lebanon, on the 7th of October, they were occupying Shib'a Farms, Tilal Kfar Hills, and 7 villages. Hezbollah attacked them on the Lebanese lands, on the Lebanese occupied lands. Hezbollah never started an aggression against the Israelis from 1948, and even before Hezbollah, Kevork, before Hezbollah was established, the Lebanese never started an aggression against the Israelis. It's the other way around. It has always been the other way around. The first massacre Israel did in Lebanon was in 1948 in Hula. That was the first massacre. Hezbollah wasn't in 1948. Hezbollah came in 1982 and 1985. So nobody is starting an aggression against anyone, even Al-Julani. Hajj Muhammad Ra'ad, in his latest interview, he said, "Stay away from us. We don't want to fight with you. Stay away from us." But if they are going to enter Lebanon, then the resistance and the people of Lebanon and the army of Lebanon, I believe, will defend Lebanon against any aggression. It's not wrong at the moment to be part of a defense strategy for Lebanon, because the whole region is in like a blender, if you want. It's being reshaped until everything calms down and we see the balance of power where it is. I don't see any anybody starting a war at the moment. Even the Israelis, they don't have. It's not in their interest to start a war with Lebanon, because everything they achieved in the past 8 months will be gone once a missile hits Tel Aviv.
You know,
I
there
mean, they
is
have.
also, but Ibrahim, there is also the point that Hezbollah doesn't recognize Israel as a legitimate political entity. And the Americans, in this case, they want to make sure that Hezbollah doesn't pose an existential threat against Israel. And in this case, if you noticed in the past few years, there are growing voices, even inside the Lebanese society, probably manufactured because they have dumped millions and millions of dollars into these NGOs, media outlets, journalists, paying them. But there are increasing voices inside Lebanon saying that we want to normalize ties with Israel, and Hezbollah is a major obstacle to that, right? I mean, if Hezbollah exists in the south, then a peace deal is impossible with between Lebanon and Israel. But after October 7, if we see the sequence of events and how Iran has went to its home, basically, to protect its territorial integrity instead of going into the region and trying to recalibrate, let's say, the balance of power in the region, it has gone into its home. And Syria is gone. Hezbollah is now localized. So in this case, the people who are opposing Hezbollah and want peace with Israel, they feel emboldened. And they feel that it's now time to strike a deal with Israel. And I believe one of these actors is the Lebanese government. The president of Lebanon, the prime minister of Lebanon, they're all taking Lebanon into that direction. Therefore, Hezbollah is in a confrontation with the Lebanese government, something that is unprecedented, even in the Lebanese society, to have a government that is so antagonizing Hezbollah since the days of Bashir Gemayel, when he struck a deal back then with Israel. So this is the second attempt. So what is Hezbollah going to do about that?
Okay, first, the Iranians did not go back to their own territory. Ali Larijani was in Lebanon a few days ago, delivering a very important message that Iran is not going to leave the people of the resistance alone. This is something that every single official in Lebanon understood, and the Iranians are speaking quite open about it. Even the Yemenis are being very clear about keeping Saudi pressure on Hezbollah, and we will get back to this later on. Not only Hezbollah will not agree to normalization with the Israeli entity. There's a large number of Lebanese that will not agree to normalization with the Israeli entity. For me personally, and for a lot of people in Lebanon, we will never recognize Israel. We will never recognize this entity, even if the whole world recognizes Israel. Even if every single country recognizes Israel, we will not. I personally will not recognize.
And what happens when the
entity.
Lebanese government recognizes Israel? That's the
Lebanese,
question, right?
They cannot, because there's a large number of people who will not accept normalization with Israel. A large number, not only Hezbollah. Of course, Hezbollah, Harakat Amal, many other parties in Lebanon from different sects will not accept the normalization with Israel. And this will lead the country to a big problem like it did before, when
Exactly.
Bashir Gemayel was there and Amin
Exactly.
Gemayel was there.
Exactly. And this is what
not
Israel wants, right?
normalization in Lebanon is not going to happen.
And if it happens, I'm saying it will push the country into a confrontation. And
Of
this is
course.
what this will be great news for Israel. If
Is it for the Americans great news as well?
I mean, the American strategy in the region goes at least 90% in alignment with the Israeli strategy in the region. I would argue, and in this case, if a confrontation happens inside Lebanon, Hezbollah can easily control the Lebanese state, government, or everything basically. But this will bring Lebanon into um, Lebanon will be considered now controlled by Hezbollah, and this will give the Americans more, let's say, argument to say now we have to go after Lebanon and even bomb it even further to subjugate the Lebanese, right? So what I'm trying to say is if President Aoun and the Prime Minister, who are clearly selected for this role in Lebanon, to push for the disarmament of Hezbollah, normalization of relations with Israel, with complete support from Saudi Arabia, by the way, guys. What would Hezbollah do? Are they going to fight against the Lebanese government? So this is going to cause a new civil war. That's what I'm trying to bring the...
Hezbollah can do a lot of things, demonstrations, resigning from the government, resigning from the parliament, and this will not give the government any legitimacy anymore, nor the parliament, because one sect is not in it, and in the Lebanese constitution, every sect has to be in the government and the parliament. They have many political cards to play, and of course they have. I mean, at the end of the day, Kevork, they are cornering the resistance. And if the
Yes.
resistance decides to flip the table, it's not going to flip the table only in Lebanon, in my opinion. It's going to flip it in the region. And I think they are starting to understand this very well. What the Iranians are saying, what the Yemenis are saying, what the Iraqis are saying. If you want to corner the resistance here, there will be a consequence all over the region. Not only the Levant and the GCC will be part of the chessboard.
But Ibrahim, you're being, in my opinion, please correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is maybe I'm too pessimistic. Maybe I'm just reading your lines from an optimistic context. But if you ask me, Iran is now under immense geopolitical pressure because of what happened in Syria and Lebanon, and because of this Zangetso corridor on the northern borders. And when Larijani came to Lebanon, of course, he was asked by President Aoun and others not to intervene in the affairs of Lebanon, although every other actor is intervening, including the US, Israel, Saudi Arabia, UAE. So many actors are funneling millions and millions and millions inside the Lebanese political landscape. However, they also say
No?
I don't know what happened, but I was jumped out of this conversation. Do you guys hear me now when I'm talking to you? Can you please confirm in the chat if you guys can hear me well? See you now. Yeah, but can you hear me? That's the more important. Yes, you can hear me. That's great. I will wait for our dear friend Ibrahim to join us again. Maybe I will kick him out from kick guest out. Maybe he joins back. So as you see, guys, in today's conversation, I was trying to play a different role, and that is to bring counter arguments, basically, and those are legitimate concerns. People are talking, right? And I hear and I talk and I socialize with many Lebanese from different political landscape, let's say left, right, middle, Christians, Muslims, Shia, Sunni, etc. Ibrahim has joined us again. Hey, Habibi, welcome back.
I don't know what happened.
The Mossad apparently intervened and kicked us out of this conversation. I'm just joking. So I don't know what I was, and now look, my brain stopped functioning. Yes. So there are so many people in Lebanon say that we're disappointed of Iran. They didn't intervene directly in support of Hezbollah when they were under immense military pressure, the decapitation of the leadership, the assassination of Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah, and the collapse of Syria as well. So there is no expectation from Iran to continue this role in the region. Meanwhile, the axis of the normalization of relations with Israel, or the axis of Israel, they're the ones who have the upper hand.
Okay. Hezbollah spoke now. I cannot speak more than what the head of Hezbollah spoke. He said that they did not need Iranian intervention. For 66 days, the Israelis could not enter Lebanon. Of course, there were attacks. And let me tell you, Kevork, if Iran intervened and the United States, I mean, this is going to be a massive regional war. The timing, I can never know it. This is in the hand of the people, the leaders in the resistance. But I don't think there's an interest right now for a massive war or a massive regional war. If
I totally
something
agree.
happens in Lebanon and somebody interferes, if nobody interferes, then from the normalization part, then nobody will interfere from the resistance part. But if somebody interferes from the normalization part, I truly believe that there might be a chance for the resistance factions in the region and Iran as well to intervene, because losing Lebanon and losing Iraq is the lethal blow that will knock Iran out. If I'm making sense. The Iranians are delivering, like yesterday, Ali Larijani said that who are you to put a deadline? He was speaking to the Americans, and he was speaking to the Lebanese government, and like, why are you putting deadlines? And the Yemenis were very clear. Sayyid Abdul Malik Badruddin al-Houthi spoke for 20 to 30 minutes in his latest speech about Lebanon and about the pressure that the Saudis are putting on Lebanon. Because let me be honest with you, Kevork, the Saudis are pressuring as much as the Americans.
Yeah, why? Why is
Because it's their interest. I mean, look from, and I don't want to go prior to 2011. I'm just gonna say 2011 and moving on. They have done what the Israelis have been asking them to do. For example, the war in Syria. The Saudis have been a major part in this war in Syria. For example, the war in Iraq, the Saudis played a major part in this war. What's happening in Lebanon? They have been trying to disarm the resistance, not from now, from years and years prior. Look at the economical pressure the Saudis are putting. And some information talk about Mohammed bin Salman saying, we will give Lebanon to al-Julani, and Yazid bin Farhan saying, if Hezbollah remains, we will burn Lebanon. Well, Lebanon is not for anyone to give to anyone else, and nobody can burn Lebanon as long as Hezbollah is there.
And the Saudis, it seems, they have also utilizing soft power inside Lebanon. Clearly, they are paying for different media outlets, major ones, one of which I would assume is MTV. And they sent
All of them.
they sent a journalist from their outlet yesterday to Lebanon. And this is an interview, guys, just to give you context, between the Lebanese president, On, and this journalist on the left. Her name is Layal Al-Ikhtiyar. Am I pronouncing her family name correctly?
Yes,
And
exactly.
she interviewed him yesterday for the Saudi Al Arabiya TV, which is a Saudi state-funded TV outlet with like its role is like Al Jazeera, but for Saudi Arabia, I would argue. But the one thing that is interesting about this interview, that they have picked this particular journalist, Layal, to interview the president of Lebanon, because, in my opinion, she already normalized ties with Israel. Layal has been, she interviewed the spokesperson for the Israeli occupation forces, Avichai Adari, in the past. And there is a case against her, a court case against her, right, inside Lebanon for normalizing or collaborating with Israel in this case. And they have sent her to Lebanon and nothing happens. Nobody questioned her, anything. And she interviewed the president of Lebanon. I think this is a clear message from the Saudis telling the Lebanese people that we want you not only to disarm Hezbollah, we want you to normalize ties with Israel. Is this evaluation correct, Ibrahim?
The Saudis does not only want to disarm Hezbollah. The Saudis, they want to end the existence of Hezbollah. They are pressuring the authorities to provoke the license of Hezbollah, to not allow it to participate in the next elections. The Saudis want to pressure Hezbollah's financial institute as well, Al-Qard al-Hassan, and this is something that the Americans, Ortegos exactly, was speaking about today. And the Saudis, they want this to happen so they can push the whole region into normalization. They have said it before that they will be the last country to normalize, and they will not normalize until all the Arabs normalize. When actually they have been normalizing since 1948 and doing the Israelis' bidding since 1948. But on paper, they didn't normalize. Choosing Layal al-Ikhtiyar is a message, like you said, to the Lebanese that you will normalize and you will be pressured to normalize. This will not, I mean, they tried this before, Kevork, and they failed, and they're going to fail again. Lebanon is not going to normalize with the Israeli entity. Never. As
What
long
happens
as
when Syria normalizes, when Jolani's Syria normalizes?
they can normalize what they can do, whatever they want. Lebanon will not normalize. We will not. May he rest in peace. Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah once said, لن نعترف بإسرائيل ولو قطعنا إربا إربا, which means we will not recognize Israel even if they cut us to pieces. This is a decision from the. This is the decision from the a large number of Lebanese people from all religions and all sects.
I will bring one last thing about this conversation, and I find this interesting because yesterday I had a conversation on X with Ramia Ibrahim. Ramia is a very famous Lebanese, I think she's Syrian or Lebanese journalist working for Al Mayadeen. Al Mayadeen is
Ramia is Syrian, brother.
Syrian, yeah. Ramia is a famous Lebanese journalist, Syrian journalist, and she works for Lebanese regional TV outlet Al Mayadeen. And she criticized here the Syrians from the Druze community who carried the Israeli flag the other day in Sweden, and they called for separation from Syria. And this is, in my opinion, it's going to be very counterproductive. It's going to be very, very dangerous for the Druze community in Sweden to take this approach and raise Israeli flags calling for separation and even joining Israel in this case. But we had this conversation. I truly want your opinion on this because this is in the same context of our conversation. And she said in this case, we can be against the regime. She means the Jolani regime, but you cannot be a traitor to the homeland. Whoever raises the flag of the Israeli occupation is a traitor and an agent, no different from the murderous gangs spread across Syria. And whoever believes that Israel sees them as better than a son of Gaza is a fool and reckless, with no connection to wisdom or reason whatsoever. For the record, the right to self-determination belongs to the people languishing under the yoke of occupation. I have never heard of people's right to self-determination being used to demand their occupation by a genocide state, by God. And my comment was, you're right, I agree with you, but this issue cannot be limited only to dealing with Israel, but also with Turkey and carrying its flag. The latter is also an occupying and genocidal state. Now, you live in Lebanon, and we see Turkish flags flying in North Lebanon among some components of the Lebanese society. And Turkey is an occupation force in Syria, in Iraq, and it has committed genocide after genocide after genocide, historically, and even at the current times through their proxies. Why is it always, why is Israel takes the bigger, let's say, cake in this conversation, but Turkey not? Although Turkey, in my opinion, is more dangerous because it presents itself as a champion of the people of the region, that it supports the Palestinians, but it infiltrates the people and divides them, and it's the largest NATO army in the region, playing and doing the bidding of the transatlantic camp in this region. But most people, in my opinion, do not see Turkey the same way they see Israel.
Nobody, I will not see Israel as anything else in the world, personally. Israel is a state that was built here, a cancerous state that was built here in this region. The Turks, they are the people of the land in Turkey. Now, do I agree with you that they have made mistakes and killed people throughout history in this region? I totally agree.
We're talking about genocide, Ibrahim.
Yes, exactly. I totally agree with you. On this point, I totally agree with you. I am personally against any kind of interference or occupation, whether it's Israeli or whether it's Turkish, whether it's Iranian or whether it's Saudi. I am against any kind of course, the Iranians are not occupying this region. I'm just giving an example. I am against any kind of occupation or any kind of interference from any country in our affairs. Whether you are Syrian, whether you are Lebanese, whether you are Jordanian, whether you are Palestinian, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. An occupation is an occupation. Now, why Israel is hated more? Because Israel is like I said, it was built here. It's not from the land. It's not from the people of this region, and it's not the people who they came from Europe and they came from America and I don't know from where. I'm not saying that what the Turks did was correct, and I'm not giving them a pass. Any genocide, any state that genocides is a genocidal state. Now, why do they interfere in our region? This is a long discussion that we might do another
We will. I really
Yeah.
enjoy this conversation with you because
Yeah.
we like this chit chat. You know, it's important.
But to me, again, I will end it as I started. Any occupation is wrong. Any genocide is wrong, whether it's from Israeli or Turkey or any place in the world very far away from us. A genocide is a genocide and should be condemned.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. I'm done.
That's Ibrahim Habibi, this was a great conversation today with you.
Thank you.
I truly try to bring different opinions that I hear so that we can have a discussion and conversation, something that is missing on many of the mainstream media outlets and also on the alternative media outlets. I would like to trigger conversation. That's why I truly would like to have you again back on this channel, because we have a lot to talk about our region in this case. And our region is all interconnected, guys. Syria, Lebanon, Palestine, Jordan, Iraq, and there's so many things that are in common. Now, as our friend says, Red Access, who is the moderator of the live chat, please like and share this video. So at least 1,000 people watch this live, right? And only 197 people hit the like button. If you liked this content and this conversation, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button before leaving this live streaming, because this helps me and this channel to reach to more people, and the content also reaches to more people. Now, if you want to follow Ibrahim and his analysis, he's posting daily. His X account is in the description below. So, final thing to say after thanking our friend Red Access for the moderating the live chat. If you like to support the independent work I'm doing on this channel, you can become a patron. The link is scrolling on the screen, patreon.com/Syriana Analysis. If you don't like to use Patreon, there are different means in the description below. You can check them. Ibrahim, thank you so much again for coming to the show. And
Thank you.
Habibi, God bless you. And thank you so much, guys, for tuning in to this live streaming. I appreciate all of you, whether you watch this on YouTube, on Rumble, on Ganjing World. Peace be upon you, upon your families. Salam.